Diary. Today is November 9th, 2020. We all know how 2020 is going, but it started to get weird again. Wait, why am I writing in a diary? I don't do that, but okay. I woke up like any normal day with my alarm annoying the crap out of me. I got dressed and did my makeup and headed off to school, but when I got to school, hardly anyone was there. So I started to head to my next class, but hardly anyone was in the halls, and we all know how hard it is to get through those halls. Anyways, I went to my class and asked Mr. McClendon,
Hey McClendon, where is everybody?
which he replied with,
What? They're quarantined. Did you get your homework done?
Uh,
"What? Quarantined again? Why again?" Even my partner from Radio and TV 1, Emma Flugaft, got quarantined as well. This is so weird, oh my gosh, not again. Wait, why haven't I been quarantined yet? Wait, does this mean I'm the last one standing? I, Lily Smith, the last one? This is crazy, oh my god. Hello? You're being quarantined.
No!
Why? Why do I have to be quarantined? I thought I was the last one. I thought I could do it. I thought I could make it, but I couldn't. I'm a failure.
well, it was fun while it lasted. Thanks a lot, 2020.
If you're like me, you're a gamer. But gamers gotta work out too. They gotta get buff, big, and strong like Mario. First, what you gotta do, get your gamer gear on. Once you're all set up, it's time to do your warm-ups. Run around the block a few times. Get your blood pumping, everything rushing. If you're like me, you can go as fast as the sun. Once you do that, you want to get in your basic workout mode. After a few minutes, you pop on the jams. And basically, that's the workout of a gamer.
Hello, I'm Colton Qualley, and this is Bears Minute Live, where I will be going over the Bears' last game and my predictions for the rest of the year. So the Bears lost on Monday Night Football to the Vikings, 19-13. Very disappointing game for the offense. Once again, failed to reach 200 yards, which is the worst showing in Matt Nagy's career as the Bears head coach. It was very difficult to watch, especially being a Bears fan, seeing that our run defense is vastly improved, seeing that we held Dalvin Cook to under 70 rushing yards, despite them giving him over 15 carries. We didn't do a good job guarding their wide receivers, though. Adam Thielen did have 2 touchdowns against the Bears, which is surprising, seeing that this was his first time having more than one. Throughout his history playing the Bears, he's only had 1 touchdown. Justin Jefferson, the rookie from LSU, also had 110 receiving yards, mostly off of one 50-yard catch and run, which poorest tackling by the Bears, which has been one of the main problems on defense. But the good thing is that the defense is not our weak spot right now, obviously. Good thing is that we had a kick return touchdown by Cordarrelle Patterson, which is the only reason we were in that game. But the Bears dropped to 5-5 after starting 5-1, and we're going into the bye week. So now my predictions for the rest of the year. Matt Nagy is obviously on the hot seat right now. You started 5-1, and you obviously had some tough games coming up. And all you had to do is win 1 or 2 of those games, and you'd go into the bye week 6 or 4, or maybe 7-3. But you're 5-5 right now, and you are falling out of the playoff race. They're in a free fall right now. So you face the Packers right after the bye week. This is an ultimate statement game. Nick Foles is injured. We'll see what happens with that. I want Mitch Trubisky to come back in. I think with the offensive line we have right now, he can run this offense better. He can make plays with his feet, where Nick Foles can't run for his life like Mitch can and make plays outside of the pocket. And I don't know if it was just me, but the offense just seemed to look a lot more smoother with Trubisky in the first 2 games. 2.5. I mean, he came out in the Falcons game. But it just seemed like Matt Nagy was waiting for the perfect time for Mitch Trubisky to mess up so he could put Nick Foles in. So, my predictions for the rest of the year. As of right now, the Bears haven't shown me anything to where they'll win 3 or 4 more games. But hopefully, it's the bye week. We put something together and we come out with some sort of fire and go on a run. But from what I've seen right now, I'd say the Bears go 7-9 or 8-8 if they're lucky. They still have some winnable games on their schedule. They still play the Lions, which I think are a better team right now than the Bears. We lost the first time because DeAndre Swift dropped a wide open touchdown pass, which he should have caught. We still play the Vikings again, which I don't know if we can beat them again. We play the Pack twice, and then we play the Texans and the Jaguars. A lot of winnable games in there if the Bears can get their crap together offensively, basically. Mind my French, but that's all we need to do, and we can be a Super Bowl contender if we just had an offense. This has been Bears Minute Live with Colton Qualley.
Welcome back to Mobile Minute. I'm your host, Thunder Blitz, and today we will be taking a look at the Last Laugh Bundle Pack from Fortnite. This includes 11 cosmetics, which are like the axes, black balloons, etc. This pack comes with 3 skins, Joker, Poison Ivy, and Midas Rex. Joker has 3 styles, Poison Ivy has 2, and Midas has 2 also. This bundle was originally announced all the way back in August, and now it was released this past week. With this pack, you can don your favorite DC villain skins, which I think is amazing. This bundle costs $30, which is a really good deal considering what you're getting in the bundle. Here are just a few items that are included in this bundle. This pack will help add to your collection, and that's been Mobile Minute with
Hey guys, this is 20th Century Wilcox here, and today on November 2020 We're going to review a movie called Disney Pixar's Ratatouille with Patton Oswalt as Remy. Well, one stormy day, Remy was trying food and he wants to be a chef. And his idol is Chef Gusteau. And every time he eats food, he thinks it's delicious. But one day, when he was sneaking into the old lady's house, the old lady tried to shoot him down and the rest of his family, and he ended up in the sewer. And he found Chef Gusteau's ghost. And he went up to his restaurants and he found food. He wants to eat it, but Gusteau told him that chefs make food, thieves take food. And he met this red-haired guy named Linguini, and he controls him like this. And you got Antonigo, which is the critic who eats food, and yeah, he didn't like Gusteau's food. That's what caused Gusteau's death. And you got the bad guy, Chef Skinner. He's the boss of the chefs, and he tries to kill Remy, and it's up to Remy to make food, delicious food for people. And what do I think of this movie? Good movie, very good movie from the late 2000s. You can check this movie out on Disney Plus. I give it 5 stars, and Patton Oswalt's voice of Remy is great, and the other characters have good voice acting. The animation was good. The French music was good and beautiful. And this is 20th Century Wilcox signing off.
While I had COVID, I watched a lot of movies and read a lot of books because I was super tired and didn't have any energy to do anything. So I'm going to be reviewing the movies and the books that I watched. The first movie I watched was The Wolf of Wall Street, and I've actually watched this movie a lot of times, and it's one of my favorite movies, but it has Leonardo DiCaprio in it, and it's about a poor stockbroker that works his way up in the industry and then ends up becoming a total millionaire, and a lot of stuff happens, and there's a lot of plot twists in it, and I think it's a really good movie, and I would give this movie a definite 10 out of 10. The second movie that I watched is called Beautiful Boy. It's on Amazon Prime, and it has Steve Carell and Timothée Chalamet in it. And it's about this teenage kid. He's a really good student. He's an athlete. He does really well overall, and he ends up spiraling into an addiction. And the whole movie is basically just his dad trying to help him and like doing all he can to get him the right resources. And it's a really emotional movie, but I think it's a really good movie. So I would give this movie about 8 out of 10 stars. And the book that I read was called The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider. And it was about this young teenage boy was like a really big tennis star, and he was on the varsity tennis team, and he ended up getting a knee injury and couldn't play tennis anymore, so he joined an academic team, and he actually found a lot of new friends, and there's a lot of plot twists in this book, and the end will leave you totally amazed, but I thought it was a really good book because it fits perfectly for teens, and I feel like that's happened to a lot of other people.
Jackson Skinner, and I'm going to be doing the Average Joe Sports Show, but it's just me this time and no quality. I'm going to be doing the top 10 power rankings. I'm going to be doing my lock of the week and my game of the week. And right now, my top 10 power rankings, the Chiefs are number 1. They have so much firepower on offense that there's not really a good way to stop them. And their defense is still good. Like, they have a lot of playmakers and everything. And Tyrann Mathieu definitely leads that defense, and I think that they will maybe make it to the Super Bowl. Number 2, I'd probably have the Pittsburgh Steelers. their defense is just playing bonkers crazy right now, and I don't think that anybody's going to be able to stop them. 3, I have the Saints. Even though they lost Drew Brees, Jameis Winston is a very good backup, and they still have a good team. Tampa is at number 4 for obvious reasons. I mean, they're good, but I mean, they kind of play down to their competition a little bit. Green Bay at number 5. They're just a good team. I mean, I could probably put the Green Bay Packers above them. I will. Green Bay Packers are above them just because they lost Drew Brees. 6, the Panthers, or not the Panthers, the Ravens. They're lower on the list. The Ravens just aren't as good as I thought they would be. And after losing to the Patriots, I don't know what they're going to be. At 7, I have the Bills. They're just playing good football, even though DeAndre Hopkins made them relevant, I guess, just because of the catch. The Raiders, I'd put at 8. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of their games, but Josh Jacobs is putting in work for me on fantasy. At 9, I would have the Miami Dolphins. Not even just because they're my favorite team, just because they put in so much work, and it looks like they're actually having fun playing football out there on all 3 phases of the ball. And at 10, I would have Arizona Cardinals, just because, I mean, Kyler Murray's a stud and MVP caliber quarterback. I mean, I don't really know how you can stop him or the offense. They have the number 1 offense in the league. My pick of the week would definitely be the Steelers over the Jaguars, even though the Jaguars gave the Packers a run for their money. The Steelers are just way too good. And I think that my game of the week is going to be the Buccaneers versus the Rams, which is going to be crazy because it's a 7 o'clock game. Tom Brady and against a young team with a pretty good defense. So I think the Rams will come out with the win just because of their defense alone. But I think the Buccaneers will definitely give them a hard run.
Okay, so today for the Friday show, I'm going to be talking about the Vampire Diaries. I'm mainly going to be talking about all the main characters, or most of them, and I'm going to be listing some traits of theirs, whether or not I like them, and why I do like them or why I don't like them. And warning for spoilers, I talk about things that happen throughout the whole show, so just letting you know, warning you right now. So let's get right into it. First off, we have Elena Gilbert. She is the main character, so of course we have to like her. But I like her, but some of her traits are, well, she is the main character. The world kind of revolves around her in this show. She has a lot of crying scenes, and it's very annoying after a while. She's generally nice. She has way too many evil doppelgangers. They ruin her whole life. And you know what? Everybody's always saving her all the time. She's always in trouble, and it's kind of annoying. But we love her because, well, I don't really know. But we do. So, on to the next person. And the next person we have is Damon Salvatore. We love him. He's amazing. So, some of his traits are, he's sarcastic, he's pretty, he's very pretty, and he's always there for Elena, because he's, in love with her. You really shouldn't make him mad, or when he's sad, he might go out and kill someone, but, that's casual in this show. Not in life. If you're sad, don't kill someone. That's a bad idea. But yeah, that's an issue for him. He kind of does that a lot. But he's a pretty steady character. He makes the show funny. He honestly does. So yeah, he's pretty great. Now his brother, Stefan Salvatore. He is mostly considered the good guy in this show. Some few traits. He has hero hair. It's a common thing that Damon says about him. His hair is just hero looking. He's very bad at being a vampire because he tends to rip off people's heads. And he doesn't know what control is, and it's kind of necessary. He's very sad. He's a sad soul, but he gets through it. He's okay. He's kind of too serious sometimes. Doesn't know how to laugh all the time. But he has his moments. He develops throughout the show. Becomes great. So, never know. Always want to be
clear about that one. Now we have Jeremy Gilbert, who is Elena's little brother. Some of his traits are he's emo. He has had drug problems in the show. And he cheated on his girlfriend with a ghost. Now that we are very upset about. We don't condone that. Because his girlfriend, he shouldn't have cheated on her. She's amazing. He actually uses logic in this show most of the time. And he can be useful. He's not always useful. He's kind of there. But he has been useful sometimes. So that's about it for him. Couldn't tell you much more. Okay, now to wrap this up, those were the first 4 main characters of the show. If you want to hear more of my opinions about them, feel free to come back next week on the Friday show.
So what's going on? This is Reese with your NFL update. And what we're looking at right now is we can see that the Steelers still sitting at 9-0, but I don't think that's going to last very long because, they're a very good team with a good defense, but I don't know. I think there's definitely some teams that could beat them out there, like the Chiefs, and I think if they played the Ravens again, that the Ravens would beat them. And you also have the Chiefs sitting at the top of their division with an 8-1 record. And with a good one coming up this week against the Raiders, the only loss they have this season, so that should be a fun one to watch. And you have the Colts and Titans battling in the AFC South, both sitting at 6-3. I think that the Colts are going to come out on top of this division just because I think their defense is playing really well and the offense is starting to slowly come along. So I think they should be all right to win that division. And I can see the Bills winning the AFC East, but I could easily see the Dolphins sneaking into the playoffs with the wild card. And then back to the NFC East, you have the Eagles sitting at 3-5 winning the division. I would say that they will win the division, but honestly, I'm really rooting for the Giants to come out on top of there, just because, it's been a long time since we saw the Giants in the playoffs. And then down to the NFC West, you have the Cardinals and the Rams, and the Seahawks still battling. I honestly think that the Cardinals are going to take this division, finishing with a 12-4 record. And I think that the Seahawks will pass the Rams and get into the playoffs. And the Niners aren't out of it, but I don't see them coming back and winning the division or sneaking into the wild card. And now we go to the NFC North, where the Packers lead the division with a 7-2 record. The Bears and Vikings and Lions both staying alive in that division. Bears at 5-5 and the Vikings and Lions at 4-5. Vikings have been looking really good the last few weeks, so who knows what happens there, but I definitely think the Packers are going to win that division. In the NFC South, the Saints 7-2, 6-game win streak. It seems like they always have a rough start at the beginning of the year, then they always pick it up right after that, so that's why they got that 6-game win streak, and I can see the Buccaneers catching them, but I just don't see it happening. Maybe with Drew Brees out, but I think that team's just too good to give up that division. That's all I got for NFL update.
Hello, welcome in The Way with Trey. Today, I think I'm going to start out with a question for you guys. Are the Chicago Bears done? Their record is 5-5, and they still have 6 more games to go. Email me your answer at treyfedler1@gmail.com. Alright, let's start off with the Chicago Bears offense. This offense has been terrible. Absolutely terrible. It is arguably the worst in football. And that's comparing it to the Jets offense, and they have not won a game yet, as of this recording. The most problems are obviously between the offense line and the quarterback. This offense line has been terrible ever since the loss of James Daniel, their left guard, who went down in an injury against the Colts in Week 4. I think the most obvious step into improving this offense is getting that offensive line back up to steam like they were in Week 1, 2, 3. Although those games were against pretty bad teams, as in the Lions, the Giants, and the Falcons. Although the Lions are pretty close from coming back. I think they're still at the bottom of the division. Not 100% sure. But the And then the Giants are winning their division right now in the NFC East, which is probably the worst division in football. But let's move on to the quarterback position. Everyone is saying that Mitch is done. That's what they were saying before. But now that Nick Foles is doing terrible, in my opinion, they are wanting him back, and I think they need to. He gives them the best chance to win, in my opinion. He has the mobility that Foles does not. And with them even being compared, although Mitch was facing bad teams, Mitch is 6-3 in touchdown and interception ratio. He also has 560 yards, but his completion percentage is pretty bad. It's 59.3. Foles is over 1,800 yards, touchdown ratio of 10 and 8, and a 65% completion percentage. But his mobility really limits this offense. They know when you're going to run, but when you have Mitch, he's able to run around and do different things. Foles has to stay in the pocket when he tries to move. He's like a turtle. No offense to Nick Foles. And let's move on to the question, are we wasting this defense? In my opinion, we are. This is a Super Bowl caliber defense. If you gave this defense an offense that is average, like the Lions, if you gave this defense to the Lions would win. I promise you they would. That offense is not bad. That defense it's okay. But this Bears defense is so good, even under Chuck Pagano, which I'm not a big fan of Chuck Pagano. I think they're number one in the red zone. They have one of the best cornerback duos in Jalen Johnson and Kyle Fuller. They have an all-pro safety in Eddie Jackson. They have Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, who went down with an injury, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to play or not. They have Robert Quinn, who sadly has been a disappointment, $70 million man, who's been very disappointing. And they really miss Eddie Goldman, but Daniel McClutters actually did okay. But that's it. That's about it for that one. This offense has been terrible. I just can't stand it. Let's move on to the question about the Pro Bowlers for the Chicago Bears. Obviously, the Pro Bowl was moved to 2021. They basically canceled it for this year, but they're still letting you cast your votes for this year's Pro Bowl. I think the only actually, there are a lot of Pro Bowlers on this defense, but this offense is so bad. I think there's only one, and it's Allen Robinson. And that is the only bright spot on the Chicago Bears offense, the only one. Rather than that, there's no other ones on offense I could think of rather than maybe David Montgomery. Maybe, but he's also injured, so it kind of hurts his chances for that. On defense, you have Eddie Jackson, Akeem Hicks, who's doing pretty good this season, especially with run stuffing. Khalil Mack, obviously, always probably a Pro Bowl candidate. Then you have Tishawn Gibson hasn't been that bad, but I don't think they'll get him. Jalen Johnson and Kyle Fuller, they might have the possibility of going. Rather than that might no. Then you Roquan Smith, who's having a tremendous season. He's having a great junior season in the NFL. But, yep, that was In the Way with Trey. Maybe we can catch you guys next time.